The majority of crypto YouTube channels are driving me insane. These guys do not respect technical analysis, and they're actually preaching that it's an urban myth inside their paid Patreon groups. Where at this channel, we believe the exact opposite because we found an anomaly in the crypto charts that separates them from the stock market charts. And using this anomaly, we were able to change $12,500 into last month a crypto VAG valued at $200,000. Starting off in April and May by shorting with leverage, huge layered positions. So at the end of this bull run, we're going to get a secondary bonus payout while we short all these dog crap tokens back down to the ground. This is what happens when you respect technical analysis. Crypto has these halving events and emission schedules. And what these create on top of higher highs and deeper valleys is there's a ripple effect that we're calling origin trend lines. This is a very prominent trend line that you can clone and repeat throughout any time frame of that cryptocurrency, and you'll find it fits like a glove. Bitcoin, AVAX, Solana, Caspa, they've all got a multitude of different origin trend lines. So we're going to be focusing in on Caspa's, specifically this one that started off of the original April spike. We had this downtrending slope. Once we clone that trend line, and we're going to do so using an angled Fibonacci channel, when we highlight this out, we can see that it fits like an absolute glove. Now, originally this summer, we used these notches, these Fibonacci zones, to buy Caspa just when it crossed the 2-cent mark. Now that we've already passed this cup and handle, we've broken out, we have another Fibonacci pitch right here, and we had this set up all the way back in September. This is how we were able to get that 10x call out on November 3rd. See this giant cluster of resistance lines right here? We knew this was going to continue to hold Caspa back, and it wasn't going to be able to break out until it cleared all of them. Remember, Bitcoin, Solana, everything was running, but Caspa was still stuck behind this cobweb of resistance lines. Once it got away from them, it broke to the upside and actually found another origin trend line. See this rising green trend line here? When we clone this, this is exactly the same trend line that we found in April. Super VIP tip in 2025 when Caspa makes its final rip to the upside before starting to cool off. My bet is this green trend line, that particular origin trend line, will be the support that it loses, and that will be the signal to sell, catching the absolute tippity top. Now that we have our resistance origin trend line in place, we're going to look for our support origin trend line, and that's in this white right here, as you can see off the lows throughout this summer. When we drop an angled Fibonacci channel, this time we're going to use color, we can see the peak of April was the bottom of this blue zone, and that angle of this trend line is so key because that's going to come into play and show where some possible bottoms are. Notice the peak in August. A lot of people were trying to relate it to the peak in April, seeing like, yeah, it was pretty close to that. But once you put it at this angle, the correct angle, people are always trying to think sideways when it comes to charts. Really, nothing is sideways unless it's a psychological resistance like $10 flat or something along those lines. Once we put it at an angle, we can see some very clear support lines. And the first one is this blue zone right here. Now, we have marked off in this yellow X January 10th. That's the SEC's date to rule whether the Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved or not. If they say no, there could be some considerable downside. Of course, they say yes, and this blue zone should very well act as support. This is just the first step in setting up a functional chart for technical analysis. The next layer is pattern recognition. Of course, Caspa just came off of a cup and handle into an ascending triangle. Those are two statistically bullish patterns that played out exactly according to the statistics. Now, there's a pattern within these patterns that I want to point out. We mentioned Rune a few months ago when Rune was at $1.80 just because it was forming a cup and handle, exactly like Kaspa. And there's a tendency based on this April and May's trade, we were doing tons of shorting, and what we were shorting was descending triangles. Because whatever pattern is running hot across the board in crypto will be running hot, and when they're running cold, they're running cold. So instead of looking for hot cryptos, you can also look for hot patterns. That's why we called out Rune at $1.80, and that shot all the way up to $7. So right now, a lot of people have been calling this Kaspa pattern a bull flag, and it is not that. Although it does have this bullish proceedings to it, which does alter the statistics of any pattern, this is definitely a symmetrical triangle. Symmetrical triangle as a pattern, when it breaks to the downside, and this is an average that's based on an examination of 127 different symmetrical triangles, it will peel down roughly 50% in price action, which will take Caspa all the way to 8 cents. Looking at our angled Fibonacci support lines, we can see that that would be right at the bottom of the gray zone on December 18th. That's right around 8 cents. Of course, there's some other factors that we need to take heed of. The first and foremost is the 10-cent psychological barrier. Not only is that a strong support zone, but it also is kind of coupled with the bottom of this blue zone, which is an actual technical analysis support line. But in this scenario where we start to dip below 10 cents, start to dip below 9 cents, without a doubt, we'll be dropping down to 8 and some change, which is where personally I will be loading the bags like a hungry badger, including doing some 3x longs on Caspa to hodl into 2025. Somebody else caught the 10x on November 3rd, and they told me that they sold it at 15. That would be like getting in a car accident and then taking a check from the BMW driver's lawyer while you're still in the hospital bed. Take them all the way to court, man. This is the scary thing. Bitcoin right now is also forming a symmetrical triangle, and what the SEC's biggest fault with the ETF is they want it to be based only in USD. They don't want it to have anything to do with USDT. So when this ruling comes out, there's this small chance that they might also attack USDT and stable coins again. So you want to keep that in mind. There could be a massive culling on the crypto coming into the horizon of the new year. We'll be going into an in-detailed technical analysis Patreon that includes a lot of fundamentals, how to use AI to research crypto, and more, which we see as going to be the most valuable Patreon on all of YouTube, as we've checked everybody else's out, and to say the least, we weren't exactly impressed. You guys are looking to become an affiliate marketer? Use the code JesseAI when you buy a TANGEM wallet. That way your friends and family, when they turn to you to buy crypto, you can hook them up with a tangent. It's easy to use. It's just like a debit card, so they won't feel technologically intimidated, and you'll get the affiliate marketing kickback. I'll catch you guys on the next one.